We are looking at board games that I've been playing this summer.
First of all, guys, I'm Pedro, you don't know me. And this is your boarding game for one.
I'm so sorry about that, folks. I am back. We will see Pedro again when we go over Unmatched, but for now, you're stuck with me. We are looking at board games that I've been playing this summer, so you can see maybe if any of these would be good for you. Let's start out with the big old box. Don't worry, there's small ones that are going to be coming through, but this is Final Girl, and this is Series 2 that I've been playing. So, let's get in here, and I'm kind of experimenting for this video to be a little more casual. I'm actually just going to do some overhead shots instead of actual shots of the whole game in play. Let me know if you like that or not in the comments, or if you have any kind of preference. What is Final Girl? Final Girl is based on Hostage Negotiator. Don't know what that is? Don't worry about it. Basically, you are playing the final girl in a scary movie. So think of the movie Alien, you know, Ellen Ripley. You are the last survivor fighting against something that's trying to kill you, and you're just trying to survive. You do that by playing cards. So let's open one of these up. First of all, this is not what you would get if you go to a retail store. You might see this whole big box, but what you're actually going to see is each of these sold individually. They run around $20 each. First thing you have to do if you want to play Final Girl is buy the core box, which is like $17 or $18, something like that. You cannot play if you only have the core box. After you get the core box, then you can buy feature films. These feature films are all interchangeable. So what that means is I can get Evomorph right here, which comes with a location, the USS Conrad. It comes with 2 Final Girls, and it comes with the killer, the Evomorph that's trying to hunt you. So what that means is I could use the location, the USS Conrad, and if I bought another one, let's say that I bought the Ratchet lady. She's kind of scary, so I could use the Ratchet lady on the USS Conrad. Okay, so you can switch up, and I could use the Final Girls from any of these and mix and match. That's kind of the whole theme of it, and it's got this cool magnetic thing that puts it back together. I will say I noticed after I open it up once, they do close completely, but they open a little easier. Like, it's a little harder. If I lay it down, it'll fall down, right? But if it's upright, it's no problem. Not a big deal. But anyway, let's go through each one of these actually that we've played through. I also have the mat, which is what this cool VCR box is. So this is the full like Kickstarter thing that I got Ding and Dent special at my local board game store, Cape Fear Games in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I got it for like 75 bucks or something, all of this. So if you find Ding and Dent, go for it. Otherwise, it doesn't come with a special mat or anything like that. So you have your location boards, and you're going to have, I'm not going to pull out all the pieces from in here, but you have little wooden meeples that represent you and the killer, as well as other survivors on the ship. So you take your little lady, and she is running around trying to save people by picking them up. So you go to a room where there's people, and they follow you, and you take them to a green square like this, and they just might survive. Your Final Girl, which I took, I'm going to have to go into the base game to show you the Final Girls, because I put them all in here. Hello. There's a mess. I've got it laid out on my table, actually. I'm playing it right now, so that's why this is more or less empty. But you need that anyway. Alright, so you're going to need this board in every game, and you're going to have your Final Girl, and the cool thing is, let's say that we were playing as Ellen. Each time that you save somebody, you put them here and you get a special ability. You save all these people, in this case 6 people, every Final Girl is different, and you get a superpower, which is pretty cool. Alright, so anyway, that's what you do on the board. You can also go to different spots to collect. Here we go, let's go in here. Now that's for the Evomorph. To collect items. So we go in here. Every location has its own little, you know, pieces, whatever you want to call those that we use. It also comes with its own terror deck, which we'll use, as well as any special cards that have to do with that particular location. There are also items, and those end up going up here. So let's say you'll have a whole deck of them, so they're going to be different. let's say you go to the armory, you can do a search action by playing a card and collect whatever item is there. So there's that as well to help you gain weapons or key cards, whatever it is that's going to help you fight this villain. There are also random events that happen throughout the game. There's a starting event in the very beginning, and then after that, sometimes they get triggered. You never know, but they'll have something crazy happen. So like this one is cramped escape pods. If there is more than one victim in an exit space, you cannot save victims in that space. So that's going to change your whole game. So every game is going to be different with different events. Every game also starts with its own individual setup card. So every game is going to start different with your final girl starting in a different location and your killer starting in a different location, as well as all of the survivors in different locations. Then on the other side of the feature film box, I've got the killer that it comes with. And each of these, again, comes with 2 final girls. So I'm going to put, say, the Evomorph right here. And this tells us how this killer is going to be creeping around trying to get us. So down here we've got like the threat track. I forget exactly what it's called. Bloodlust, something like that. I like threat. But anyway, down here, each time that they catch a survivor, this goes up. And as it goes up, bad things happen. They're able to move faster, or they're able to damage more. Something bad happens each time. So you don't want them to get too many survivors if you can help it. They go all the way to the top and it just gets harder and harder. You also have a deck of finale and power cards that are randomly chosen. So you're going to have a randomly chosen bottom card and a randomly chosen top card. So it's going to be different every time. And at a certain point in the game, like when you get to, say, here, when the threat goes up enough, you flip over the bottom card. And it makes something terrible that's going to be persistent in the game. If you get all the way to the end, you come to the finale. If you survive to the finale, it is going to get difficult. Then here we've got our horror track, which is what you keep track of. So there are certain events that the villain or the killer is going to take the horror track up, all the way up to here. And you can see if you get all the way to this red, you can only roll 1 die when you roll dice. The lower it is, the more dice you get, up to 3. So you're always fighting, taking actions to try to take this fear horror track down, and they are always trying to bring it up. You also have time. You are able to collect and spend time to buy cards. So there's actually a market of, I'm not pulling them all out, there's a market of cards, basic actions, and I'm not because they're in the other room, basic actions that you play and you're able to purchase new ones each round. Also, if you end up surviving and winning as one of the final girls, most of them come, I don't think Melanie does, but most of them come with a secret envelope that you get to unlock, and it's usually some kind of special item that you can use in future games. So like I unlocked, was it Ginny's? No, Ava, Jeanette, Veronica, it was Heather. Heather's is the one that I ended up surviving and winning. So what do I think of the Evomorph feature film box? The Evomorph, I will say, this one is extremely challenging, and I think the only way to really win, maybe there's many ways, is to use the environment, kind of like the Alien films, because this is basically Alien. Get it into an airlock. There's this whole key card thing where you go around to collect key cards, and if you use those key cards correctly, then you can go to a place like the mess hall, the trash compactor. And if there's something in the trash compactor and you use key cards to turn it on somehow, then you can actually cause damage. You can get into a giant like robot suit, just like at the end of the movie Aliens, in order to fight the alien as well. So super challenging. Most of these I only got to do 1 playthrough as I'm trying to get through each one of them. So even though I'm 7 plays in, I have not gotten to play multiple times of the same combination, right, of Final Girl location. So Evomorph, it honestly wasn't my favorite one. I did like the environment with the key cards it was a puzzle. It was almost Euro-y. So that's great if that's what you're looking for. Something that I hear about is swing with Final Girl, like the game is way too swingy. It very well may be, but I found if I played in a way where I sacrificed cards, that's an option you have. If you've got 5 cards in hand, you can just discard 2 of them to add 2 time in order to purchase a better card in the next round. Or let's say you roll the dice and you get 1 success which lets you do one good thing, but the other one was an almost success. But if you sacrifice 2 cards, you can make it a success. I found by doing that, I really am able to mitigate a lot of the swings. So it does, I actually think it ramps up very thematically. It starts out kind of slow for like 1 round, and by the time you get to the finale, you're really in trouble. Some of these you want to get to the villain like immediately, and other ones you may want to collect items first. I think this is, you got to use the environment. You got to solve a puzzle. You can't direct attack in this one. The Organism, haven't played yet. I can't tell you about it. The Intruders, I didn't want to play it because they looked too creepy for me, but I looked it up and they are just kind of 3 insane people, which again, I don't necessarily love that, but it's all right. So here are the Intruders. These are the enemy. There are 3 of them coming after you. So this game usually will have the killer and the minions. Well, these aren't minions. These are actually 3 different killers, and it changes who is the main one coming after you. And you're able to kind of manipulate actually who the main one is. So you have to take all 3 of them down in order to survive. The Wingard Cottage is what comes with this feature film. So you have outdoor spaces here, and then you have indoor spaces like the kitchen, the bedroom, laundry room, all this stuff. Even though the artwork creeps me out a little bit, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. More actually than the USS Conrad Evomorph one, which surprised me because that's the main one that I wanted. But having the 3 different ones either working together or splitting up, coming to different places, but that you can also try to isolate them and target different ones, thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, the Wingard Cottage, it comes with this special feature where you can collect materials to craft items. I have not successfully crafted anything yet. I like the idea. The Storybrooke Woods with the Big Bad Wolf. I haven't played yet. I can't tell you about it. Which takes us to our next to last one. We actually do have another one, and that is Wolf Asylum with the Ratchet Lady. Again, the artwork scared me, but it's just a person and she's lost her mind. So that's how I'm working with that. So it's a person, she's lost her mind. This one comes with minions, and you're in this asylum. So first of all, the Ratchet Lady. She starts out with low health, like 6 health. A lot of the killers start with much higher. The trick is, she doesn't have a cap. So at some point, certain events happen where her health starts going up. And there's no cap to it. It can just keep going up and up and up and up. So the first time I played against her, I was annihilated because she had health up the wazoo. Oh my goodness. The second time, I went after her quickly. I went straight to her, and it was still a tight game, but I took her out, so I was able to win. She has minions in that she has individuals who go insane, right? So they become her followers, and they end up helping her. So you're battling against these minions, but the thing is, you can help cure them to make them sane again. So you'll have victims running around on the board, and then they'll turn insane, and they turn on you. And then you can turn them back to sane. So it's this juggling act of trying to keep the people sane and rescue them, but also getting to her before she gets too strong. And she gets stronger from the minions on the board. The Wolf Asylum has a unique feature of these medications that are laying around that you can take. And they are 3 different types of medicine. Each one that you collect has a special ability. So you can take that 1 pill and do something special. Or you can take a combination of 2 pills and do something more special. Or you can save them up, have a combination of 3 pills and get some really special ability that continues for the rest of the game. But each one of those comes with a side effect. So each pill you take a side effect. The side effect might be nothing, or it could be something pretty bad that hampers you. All right, let's go to the last one, which is actually the vignette from Series 1. So from Series 1 is The Birds, basically. It's called Terror from Above, and I'm a Hitchcock fan. If you like Hitchcock, then you might enjoy this. So Terror from Above introduces a new villain that, I don't want to dump all these out. Well, it's little bird tokens, okay? It's little birds. You can see 1 bird on one side, 3 bird on the others, and it introduces, who is it? Melanie. And I'm sorry I didn't reveal the final girls that you get with each of the boxes. I'll show them all to you right after this, at least the ones that I've gotten to. You play as Melanie again. This is the birds from Hitchcock, and this is interesting because there is no killer. There are only minions, so it's just birds populating the board. The birds don't move. It's just that they keep coming. You get more and more and more every round, and if the board fills with enough birds, then you automatically lose. Also, if you are in a space with the birds, they will attack you. You are able to attack them. Just one single damage takes out one of them, but so many come. The win condition is that you have to rescue 2 of the special victims. Or actually, it's 1 for easy mode, 2 for normal, 3 for hard difficulty. You can play as any final girl. But in order for the special victims to be revealed, you have to rescue, in Melanie's case, you have to rescue 6 survivors, flip her card over, and then you get to place the special survivors on the board. Then you have to go and save them. That's the win condition. Lose condition is, of course, you run out of health or birds fill the board. I've only played through this once. This is the one I actually wanted to play the most just because I'm such a Hitchcock fan and I like the idea that it's not a person. I prefer the creatures. However, not having someone following me, I found I didn't enjoy it quite as much. This is more like fighting back a flood. So you are putting out fires. It's like playing Pandemic or something like that. You are putting out fires while trying to accomplish a mission. So mixed feelings on this one. Alright, so the other final girls from the boxes that I've played, again, there are 2 that I haven't played yet, the Storybrooke Woods and the Panic at Station 2891, the organism one. So we've got Heather here, and we've got Veronica, we've got Jeanette, we've got Ginny, we've got Ava, and we've got Ellen. Coming up next, what we have is actually a 2-player game. I'm sorry there is no solo mode on this one, but this is Jurassic Park, the Unmatched system. The Unmatched system allows you to combine lots of different games. Alright, so first of all, what on earth is this game? I'll just open up this. So we've got Saddler versus the T-Rex, and the way Unmatched works is you have an arena right here, and then you have characters that you play as with a deck of cards. So to keep it super simple, let's say we're playing as the T-Rex. We take out the T-Rex. It's one of the only super large figures. Takes up 2 spaces. And he gets his own little health dial that you can see right here. And he gets his own little deck of cards. What you would do is you would, for your actions, you take 2 actions per round. So you would take any cards that are in your hand. Let's say you have 5. And you would pick 2 of those cards to play. Or you could move as an action instead. There's more to it than that, but basically, you play an action, you do what it says. Pretty simple. Now, I mentioned mixing and matching. So, for the mix and match, you could take, like what? You played the Raptors?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of the Raptors?
For me, it's the best one because you can be fast and make movements faster than the T-Rex. So, first of all, you have the T-Rex is harder to play.
So when the T-Rex makes an attack, he hurts himself as well. Or I guess it's a she. It's like the mama T-Rex, so she hurts herself as well. So then you had your Raptor deck. We played 1 game together. You won that game. What did you do that allowed you to win that game?
I think for me, the Raptors is for the first game you're gonna play. This is the best one because it's easier. The Raptors is too simple to play than the T-Rex.
The ambush?
Yeah, the
one that gave you an extra action?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had like 5 cards in his hand and each one allowed him to take an extra action. So even though he only had 1 HP on 1 Raptor, he was able to win the final round because you just kept playing action after action after action. What didn't you like? Was there anything you did not like about the game?
About the T-Rex, because you can attack your enemy with distance.
Oh, gotcha. So the T-Rex can attack 2 spaces away.
The T-Rex can attack with 2 spaces in the way.
Yeah.
In the way, but
Pedro is still learning English. He's doing a fantastic job.
So, can I say I didn't play with the other players?
Right. Yeah, you can say.
I just played with the Raptors, and I like that.
Okay.
And just that.
That's it.
That's
Easy.
it.
Easy. Okay, cool. All right. For myself, what I would say about this is obviously if you like a confrontational game, this is great. I enjoyed playing it with Pedro. If you have two highly competitive people, this may not go super well. You want to be okay with losing. We are down to 1 HP each, I think, so have a little bit of sense of humor. If you don't like that confrontational thing, though, it's probably not going to be for you.
This game is a short game, so you don't have a lot of time. You probably are annoying with longer games. You probably might like that game because it's shorter.
Okay, and language barrier. English is your second language, you're learning it. How hard was it for you with the cards?
Like in a scale, 0 to 10, 7.
Okay.
To learn.
Okay, so pretty hard because there's a lot of text on
No. It's like
on the easier side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so 10 is easy.
Yeah, 10
and 0
is
is hard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So on the easier side. Oh, okay. All right.
Inverse. That's inverse.
Okay. All right. Any last thoughts on this? Do you like this more than Monopoly?
No, Monopoly's better.
Oh, boo. Oh, no. I want to pause for a second just to thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. If you enjoy this, please consider subscribing for more board game content, and also so you can contribute in the comments and in our community tab as well. We stay very active over there. Give this video a like if this is one you would like to see more of. Also, this is not a sponsored video, but I am sponsored by Cape Fear Games in general, so that's in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they do have an online store. So if you go to CapeFearGamesILM.com, I'll put it on the screen here, you can look for any of these games unless they're out of print or Kickstarter, which I don't think any of these are out of print. Maybe Unbroken, I'm not too sure. Solar Titans is Kickstarter, but everything else you can order there, and if you use the code BOARDGAMES just one word, you get 10% off, and if you're in the continental United States, you get free shipping as well. So better deal than Amazon. Pretty cool. Helps out the game store. I get a small cut out of it. It's fine if you don't. If you want it, take it. Let's go ahead and change it up with a nice Euro. Grand Austria Hotel, the Let's Waltz expansion. I have been looking forward to this. I thoroughly enjoy Grand Austria Hotel. It is a dice placement game where you are trying to attract the best clientele to your hotel, feed them properly, meet all their needs, get them into a room for the night, and bam, you get points. Person with the most points wins. Let's Waltz lets you send guests to a ballroom for dancing and drinking champagne instead of sending them to the hotel room. In the multiplayer game, this solves a problem where sometimes what would happen, from what I'm told, because I haven't played it multiplayer, is the guests that are laid out would kind of get stuck in place because nobody wants those guests and there's no way to discard them and refresh with new ones. Well, Let's Waltz lets you take guests and send them to the ballrooms instead, so you have more cycling of the guests. The other thing is Grand Austria Hotel, the base game, doesn't come with a solo mode. It comes with a fan-made solo mode. That fan-made solo mode was so good that they included it in the Kickstarter for the Grand Austria Hotel Deluxe Edition. However, if you buy the Let's Waltz expansion, and you have to buy the base game as well, and the base game is somewhere between $60 and $90. I'm going to put it on the screen. I think it's in the $70 range. This was about $30, $35. You had to have both. This comes with a solo mode, so you can play the base game solo as well as the expansion solo. So let me just show you what it comes with. I will say a negative, the way the board is laid out, which is why I'm not going to lay out everything. When you lay out the base game and you lay out all of the ballroom boards, it's huge, so it would not fit on this table. It needs to be on a large table, and that's for solo play. But also, the boards are all different shapes, so getting them to fit together perfectly can kind of drive me nuts, but it's fine. The artwork I've criticized before. Is it Rio Grande Games? No, it's Lookout Games. Sometimes they use artwork. It's just not my favorite. However, this one is actually quite beautiful. Though the people aren't my favorite, the environment is absolutely lovely. So these here are our two solo decks. Right there. There we go. You can play against this lady. She has a name, I don't remember it. You can play as this dude. They have different ways that they play solo. There are 5 different modules in this game. You use a different AI opponent based on which module you're playing. I am not going to undo all of this cardboard, but basically I will show you. Let's see all the different modules. See if it can refresh me. There we go. We've got the Vienna Ballroom. So module 1, you get to send guests to your ballroom. Here you are fighting for area control, whether it's multiplayer or against a solo opponent, because your AI opponent is not just taking actions away from you, they are scoring points as well. So they are competitive AI. And whoever has the most dancers in here by a certain point in the game, by the end of a certain round, they get the majority number of points. So not only are you needing to fill your hotel, you must fight for this if you want to win the game. That leads to a small downside in that your hotel doesn't develop quite as much because you're sending guests here as well. Module 2 introduces celebrities. So there are famous people. There's these cards of famous people, and I don't want to find them or pull them out. They're somewhere in here. But anyway, yeah, there they are. They're these special guests. You got them somewhere in here. Here they are. It's because they're not cards. You got these special guests. So you've got like Charlie Chaplin, J.R. Tolkien, Mata Hari. Anyway, you get these 3 special guests that you have to impress. One more way to gain points. You can combine these modules, but things are going to get really complex, so I wouldn't recommend using more than one, but you totally can. Comes with new objective cards as well that you use with the base game or with these expansions. Comes with a new type of food, champagne. Champagne is used to send people to the dance floor. And these 3 special dice, I believe these are for the celebrity special guests game. So 3 more dice to place. Then there are unique hotels, so these get added to your hotel board. I haven't played it yet, I'm not going to tell you anything about it then, so this module just specializes your hotel. And then the final 2 I have not even touched. Start player and would you like some more? I'm not going to tell you about them because I haven't played them. There's a lot of modules. Negatives, as far as the people I have already mentioned, I don't love the artwork. It's a table hog and the boards don't fit together like seamlessly, so that kind of drives me nuts. But and I also don't necessarily like the idea that introducing the waltzing and sending guests to the ballroom means that my hotel feels underdeveloped. That could be just poor gameplay choices on my part. So let me know if you feel differently. All those negatives there, I love this. Grand Austria Hotel and this expansion adding the solo mode and the ballrooms is absolutely lovely, and I'm holding on to it. All right, let's change up the pace. This is gonna be a multiplayer game, actually a party game that I've been playing this summer, Slapzi. I like this because you can learn it in about 1 minute. Here's the gist. There is a card that gets laid out in front of everybody, and what you do is you have a bunch of cards in your hand with pictures and a single word. You have to lay down a card that matches the description. It has to be accurate. So this says runs on electricity. I have to slap down something that runs on electricity. So I would be slapping down guitar, right? Whoever slaps down the card first ends up gaining that card. Oh no, they end up, what's the goal? The goal is to run out of cards. So the first person to run out of cards wins. I hope that's right. It's been a while since I've played this. Oh my goodness, 2 weeks even is a while for me. But anyway, you slap it down. If you're the first one, then that's good. That goes to discard. There are ways to gain cards as well. While that's nice because it gives you more options, the goal is to get rid of cards. These are 2-sided as well, so that makes it even harder to memorize. So then after you finish this up, that goes out, somebody flips it over, and you put things in it. And I could be like, oh my goodness, watering can. Would that pass? Maybe. Shopping cart would be a lot better. Again, 2-sided. So that's how you play it until somebody runs out of cards. It comes with 3 or 4 different variants, and we actually played through 2 of the variants. I enjoyed them. With variants, sometimes it's like, do you really need it? You really do. It adds some variety. So, cool game. I think it's great for whatever, 20 bucks or something that it is, for a nice quick game to pull out with people that maybe aren't gamers or gamers that just want to have kind of a rambunctious little bit of time. If you don't like fast thinking or brain burning things, probably not for you. Castellion, lovely solo game. This is, I wish I remembered, somewhere around $20 to $30. Again, it'll be on the screen. Oh my goodness, by Impatience Games, designer Shady Torby. I didn't say the designers of all those other things. Oh my goodness, Final Girl was designed mainly by Derek, and AJ Porfirio from Van Ryder Games. Of course, there are lots of other people involved in the design. And then we had Slapzi here, which is designed by, well, it's from Karma Games. Designed by somebody. It doesn't say on the box. And then we've got Grand Austria Hotel, Let's Waltz. This is Simon Luciana and Virginio Gigi. One of those might be the artist. And of course, I already mentioned it, that is Lookout Games. All right, so Castellion is part of the Oniverse. I believe it's called the Oniverse. The Honorim world. That's what so yeah, it's the Oniverse. Honorim, and then there's like Stellarian, which is like a space theme, and then there's a water themed one. I forget what it's called. Lots of different versions. So this is a tile laying game where you are trying to build a castle, and I want you to see kind of how you open it. It's cool. Here's your little book of rules. Lots of different challenge levels. As you can see, it's a little bit of a mess when you open it up, but basically what you have is you have a bunch of different tiles. I haven't played any games with the villain. That adds a little more of a challenge to it, but I didn't get there. But anyway, you have a bunch of different tiles, and what you do is you flip one over and you place it. It's going to have a certain type and a certain shape. Then I'm going to flip over another one. There we go, and it's a square. I cannot put two shapes next to each other, or two of the same shape next to each other. So I can put a square next to the triangle. And what it is you fill up a 6x6 grid in any way you want as long as they connect. So next I'll put a circle up top here. So you're like, what's the goal of the game? The goal of the game is to meet ordeals. There are going to be 3 ordeals randomly chosen in each game, each with different challenge levels. So let me pull those out. You can play this with 2 players. It's basically a solo game, but you use this card for 2 players. I'm not going to tell you about it because I haven't played it 2-player. But you have these different ordeals. So you've got like Ordeal 1, Ordeal 2, and randomly chosen Ordeal 3. This is the beginner's mode, where you are trying to be this architect to build this castle that's going to fight against this encroaching darkness that is coming. So you can see different shapes that need to be made. So this means I have to have 1 column, and that column has to be 4 of the same type, not shape, 4 of the same type. So this red pyro dude, I gotta have 4 of them in a column somewhere. And again, it has to be a 6x6 grid. You have to build a foundation, which is 6 blocks across in order to meet that ordeal. And I'd also have to get a square, and then I'd have to get 1 row of 4. If you have a column of 5 of the same type of pyro, it no longer counts. It has to be 4 and only 4. If you put another one on top, it better be of a different faction. Cool thing is, so after you do 1 ordeal, then you have to do the 2nd ordeal. If you complete the 3rd ordeal, then you win. Well, how do you lose? You lose by flipping over these. Let's see if I have any out here. I forget what they're called. I'm gonna call them time eaters, these little blocks here. So you can see if you get 5 of them, then this ordeal ends. If you haven't satisfied it, you lose the game. And same thing here. You only get 2 of these to flip over to meet that ordeal. And then this one. So you could randomly, it's a game of push your luck. Any one of these could be one of these. There is also a pile of safe tiles that are blue that are guaranteed to never be one of these bad guys here, but there's a limited number, so flip them over wisely. As you play more advanced versions, then the different factions, so like this blue guy here comes with a special ability, and then this pyro has a special ability, and this guy has a special ability. So when you discard them, because you don't always have to place them, so let's say I flip it over and I'm like, oh, I don't want to place it, I want to discard it. Well, a special ability gets triggered that I can choose to use. And that could be removing pieces, shifting pieces around. Then in another advanced mode, the different shapes you make can actually trigger special abilities. So it gets more and more complex. This comes with the kitchen expansion, something like that. Haven't played it with it, it makes it even harder. There you go, Castellion. Alright, let's go back to a big Euro. I'm not going to talk a lot about this one because now there's a new game that basically replaces it, although it's a completely different game. I can't remember what it's called, you know how that works, but this is Everdell. Multiplayer and solo, so 1, 2, however many, 4 players. Or is it 5? 1 to 4 players, and this is by James A. Wilson, published by Starling Games. Everdell is like Redwall. If you ever read that as a kid, it's got a cool 3D tree that I'm not putting together. This is a worker placement game. It takes place on this lovely little board. You might like this, Pedro, actually. lovely little board here with these lovely little critters and these lovely different cards that you use. So there's a market here in the middle, and you purchase from this market to build your own tableau. You build a little village way over here. As you build your tableau, you trigger special abilities that help you to gain points. The game takes place over 4 seasons. Each season is basically a round. You have so many workers to use, say 3-4 workers in the first season, and then you get another worker each season, so you get more actions. You collect resources and money, so like pebbles from the road and things like that. There are special objectives to meet, like the village fair. If you're the one to satisfy the conditions, you get all the points. There's a lot going on in this game. Don't let the cutesy theme deceive you. You actually can use some pretty serious strategy. I have played it solo a handful of times, and I played it multiplayer. I prefer it solo. Actually, there's a lot of interaction for multiplayer because you are taking up each of the worker spaces, so someone else might take the space that you want. You also have certain abilities, though it's rare, where you are able to use another player's tableau, another player's ability by placing your worker on that, and vice versa. Everdell runs about $65. All right, let's go to something smaller. We've got Unbroken. This is a solo-only dungeon crawler. It actually takes up quite a bit of table space. This is Ultima Games. I think this is around, it's between $20 and $40, depending where you get it. Probably in the $30 range. 20 to 30 minutes. Of course, I'm a slow player, so you're looking at 40 minutes for me, and it's by somebody. Artem Soferov. Alright, so this is not laid out how the game plays. It actually takes up quite a bit of space for a small game, but what you do is you pick your hero. There are 4 different heroes. They are double-sided, I believe. Yes, they are double-sided. They each have their own special abilities, their own amounts of HP and such. They come with a starting weapon, and then you can upgrade those. Oh, there's a blank one. Then you can upgrade those weapons as the game continues by collecting resources, and you face off against monsters of different levels. 4 different monsters, 4 different levels. You beat the 4th monster, congratulations, you win the game. And that's a random, of course, they have these blank ones, so you can like make your own, and of course those are at the top. So there's an example of a level 2. So you have to fight the level 1 first, then level 2, 3, and 4. And there are different ones, so you mix them up and you randomly draw one of each level. So here you've got the Crazed Survivor, and they each have different special abilities, different ways of attacking, and different ways of being defeated. Before you get to each monster, you explore, and you explore by encounters, and these encounters come in this deck here. So if you choose to explore, have an encounter, you flip it over, and you have different resources that you collect, and you spend them to gain special things. Sometimes something bad might happen as well. The more you can explore, the better, because the more special items you're able to gain so that you are able to battle the upcoming enemy. These are your resource boards. You can see that they are recessed, and you have little cubes that you place in order to keep track of your health, the enemy's health, and all the resources that you collect. You also have a timer. You run out of time, you lose the game. You run out of health, you lose the game. You beat the 4th monster, you win the game. There are cheat sheets. Well, there are achievements actually, just like in any video game. If you want to play over and over and get these special achievements, it is pretty cool. But you have these cheat sheets that help you through the game. So you just look at this and you know what to do next. I found it very useful. You also have this quick start reference guide. I actually learned how to play the game using this. Then I referenced the rulebook as was needed. The rulebook has plenty of story and plenty of detail, but it's a thick read for a small game like this. So just go by the quick start guide. You won't have all your questions answered, but you can at least get started. See if you like it, then go to your references as you need it. This is good if you like a dark dungeon crawler. If you're okay without minis and without a map, as you're using the encounter cards for exploring, if you need the minis in the map, you won't enjoy this. But a Kickstarter game that I got to play, so the publisher sent this to me, Solar Titans. This is by Sunny Side Up Games. And it's cool. I actually had a suggestion for the designer regarding like a cheat sheet for solo players to manage the enemy bot, and he took it and they've made it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. But I've got a whole video on it. We'll put a card up here So you can click to watch that, see if this is a game for you. But this is a 2 ships card battling game. This is a prototype, so I was hesitant about bringing it out. The final version, usually looks a little bit different, but basically, and I'm just going to randomly lay things out, you end up building a ship of your own and you collect different cards to build your ship versus an enemy ship that's going to go over here. These are all like shield cards. I need a weapon. Yeah, look, it's gonna look different. I'm just throwing things out. But anyway, let's just pretend you've got their ship versus your ship. You're gonna add more weapons and shields and armors and things like that, and you battle against each other. Each time you attack, you take away their pieces of their ship. If you destroy the cockpit, you win. Same thing, if they destroy your cockpit, you win. So you can play this in several different modes. 2-player, solo versus an AI bot. It comes with an AI deck right here that tells you some special ability that gets triggered, but then there's also going to be the cheat sheet for how to manage that AI. And it's not complicated at all. I just wanted a little cheat sheet. There's also a market up top where you can purchase different items on your turn to upgrade or purchase crew. That lets you do different things. The cards that you purchase go into your hand, so it's a deck building game. You want to collect the right cards to be able to play the right cards to make the right attacks, while also building up your ship as you want it to be. If you're interested in it, I'll be sure to put the Kickstarter link in the description below. It did already fulfill. I don't know if there's gonna be late fulfillment, but you can at least track it, find out what's going on. All right, and actually got to do a video including this one pretty recently, the Jedi Walks into the Game Store, Star Wars board games video. Check it out, it's a lot of fun in the game store. But anyway, Star Wars Outer Rim. So this is actually like a pick up and deliver Euro with a Star Wars theme where you are on the Outer Rim. So you are not playing as Jedis or anything like that. You are like the scrappy Han Solos, not necessarily bounty hunters. Actually, you are doing some bounty hunting as well, but you're also picking up goods, delivering them to a new location in order to collect money so you can use that to purchase better ships. And the whole goal of the game is to become infamous. So you gain these infamy points. Whoever gets to 10 points first wins the game. It does come with a solo mode, otherwise it is 1 to however many players, 1 to 4 players, and it's probably Fantasy Flight, I'm guessing, yeah. Fantasy Flight by Corey Knizia. That's probably why I like it. I like all his designs. I wouldn't say the theme is like incredibly strong. It's very similar to Firefly, if you've played Firefly the game, but it's there enough. It's nothing like playing say Imperial Assault, but you do have popular characters in there, from Jin from Rogue One to Cal Rizian, is it? I don't remember all the names, oh my goodness. But anyway, you have the 2 different books that teach you how to play. So you start with the Learn to Play book, go through it, read through the whole thing. This is not open and play. This is read the whole thing, learn to play, learn the solo mode. Solo mode only adds 1 page because you are managing a solo opponent that does gain points. They are competing with you. And then you use the reference guide once you've learned how to play it. Pretty easy learn, but you set up your Outer Rim, which can be set up in different ways if you like, but there is like a standard setup. You set that up. I'm not taking all of this out, all these pieces, oh my goodness. But you can see a lot of different pieces, monies and things like that. You have these patrols. The patrols move around. If you run into a patrol, then you have to fight them. If you win the battle, you get something good. If you lose it, then some kind of negative consequence, but you don't get destroyed or anything like that. Your ship might get destroyed. I think your ship can be destroyed and you go back to a basic one. Don't take me on that. But it is a dice rolling game, so you roll these dice. If you are picking up something and you go to deliver it, then you have to roll the dice to see if you successfully deliver it. There are legal goods and illegal goods. Illegal goods give you much better benefits, but it's more risky. All kinds of stuff. There is a market of all kinds of different items that you can buy as you collect money by doing bounties and things like that. You can have encounters on different planets, so you flip this card over. If you travel to a planet and you want to have an encounter, you flip it over, you have an encounter, something good or bad might happen. You have all these different ships that you can, well, you start as a basic one and then you can purchase better ones as you go through the game. Recessed player boards to track your character, because if you go on a planet, you battle as your character. If you're in space, you battle as your ship. It's not a combat game, really, but there is some combat in it. There you go. Star Wars Outer Rim. If you don't like pick up and deliver, you won't like this. If you're looking for a ridiculously strong theme that tells a story, you're probably not going to be into this either. This is a single play game. This is if you like more of a Euro experience. That takes us to the end of the video. Looking forward to having you back for 10 more, at least 10 more, I think it's more than 10, more games that I've been playing this summer to see if you like them. As always.
And we love you all, guys. See you next time.
Pedro.
And this is... this is every dude for one.
Hopeless.